Jnanakosha, Puranas, Introduction.
Sargaccha pratisargaccha vamsho manvantarani cha vamshanucharitanchaiva Puranam panchalakshanam.
Vishnu Puran, Part 1, C section. Tale of Prahalada and Narsimha incarnation. Parashar says, by the boon of Brahma, Hiranyakashipu had acquired tremendous power and came to control all the three worlds. He had driven the gods out of heaven and used to receive the oblations offered to Surya, Vayu, Agni, Varuna, Chandrama, Kubera, Yamraja. Because of his fear, all those gods roamed on earth. All the creators began to worship Hiranyakashipu. Beautiful and amorous elves danced in his palace, while Gandharvas accompanied them on instruments. Prahalada was the youngest son of Hiranyakashipu. Like other children, he too was sent to Gurukula to be educated. One day his teachers took Prahalada to Hiranyakashipu, who was engaged in drinking of wine at that moment. Lovingly he took his son into his lap and asked, "O son, tell me what you have learned so far in the auspices of your teachers." Prahalada said, "O father, I salute to that Sri Hari who has no beginning, no end and no mid part, who doesn't take birth and who is free from growth and decay." Hearing this, Hiranyakashipu looked at the teachers with bloodshot eyes and shouted at them, "O wretched Brahmins, in sheer violation of my orders, you have taught my son to praise my enemy." The teachers tried to express their apology, saying that what Prahalada was saying was not taught by them. Hiranyakashipu asked then Prahalada, who had taught him like that. Prahalada said, "O father, Lord Vishnu, who resides in the heart of us all, is the supreme creator, who can teach anybody anything apart from him." Hiranyakashipu said, "O fool, who is that Vishnu about whom you are describing before me, the Lord of entire world?" Prahalada replied, "Lord Vishnu is he who is contemplated about by the yogis. He is the originator of the entire universe. His virtues cannot be described in the words. That Parameshwara is Vishnu." Hiranyakashipu said, "Fool, who can be Parameshwara other than me? Do you want to die that you are babbling like that?" Prahalada said, "O father, your anger is baseless. Lord Vishnu is the creator of all of us, including you and me. He controls our breaths." Infuriated, Hiranyakashipu then ordered the teachers to take Prahalada away at once and wash his brain thoroughly. The teachers took Prahalada with them to their Gurukula. Prahalada began to concentrate in his studies. After many months, Hiranyakashipu once again called Prahalada to his palace and asked about his learning. Once again, Prahalada began to praise the Lord Vishnu. This time, Hiranyakashipu ordered his assassination. He began to see his son as a threat to his throne. By the orders of Hiranyakashipu, many formidable demons attacked Prahalada with their weapons, but Prahalada stood unfazed. He said, "O fools, Lord Vishnu is present in you, in me, and even in your weapons. May your weapons have no effect on me." Indeed, the weapons of the demons could not even touch Prahalada. Hiranyakashipu said, "I can still pardon your life provided that you stop praising my opponent." Prahalada said, "O father, I fear nothing. By the God's grace, I am free from the fear of birth and death." Hiranyakashipu then got Prahalada thrown amidst venomous snakes, but biting by the snakes had no effect on Prahalada. Because his mind was contemplating in Lord Vishnu, Hiranyakashipu then got Prahalada trampled by big bull elephants. But even elephants could not harm Prahalada. Instead, their tusks were broken as soon as they touched Prahalada. Even then, Prahalada tried to pacify his father, that it was Lord's strength that protected him every time. Prahlada's teachers, who were the sons of Shukracharya, then assured Hiranyakasipu that Prahlada was having a fickle mind because of his tender age. They also assured the demon king of transforming Prahlada and took him to their hermitage once again. Prahlada's preaching, but in the hermitage, Prahlada assembled other demon children and said, "Friends, listen to my preaching carefully and don't take it for granted because I have no personal interest in it. Every living being takes birth and suffers a lot while passing his life through childhood, youth, and old age. The end result of life is nothing but death. It is one's karma that accompany him birth after birth, but in every birth this soul mistakes hunger, thirst, cold, or hot for the pleasures. More of the luxuries one collects, more the sorrow increases. Attachment and passion are the greatest cause of sorrow. Even after passing a life that is full of sorrow, one suffers the agony of death and rebirth again. This whole cycle continues again and again. Lord Vishnu is the ultimate refuge for the soul, which feels drowned in the ocean of sorrow. Don't be confused with my young age. I am a boy like you, but the soul that stays within me is eternal. The soul has no distinct stages in life, but a human being is inflicted with a lot of misconception. In the childhood, he prefers to play than contemplating on God. In the youth, lust and carnal pleasures attract the mind. Still, a human being doesn't get serious about his benefit. He keeps on postponing his spiritual matters for his old age. But in old age, a human being has no option but to see his trembling fingers and repent about his past. Thus, a human being spoils his whole life. A wise person hence must ignore the different stages of his body's stay on earth and make efforts for his benefit right in his childhood. What I have told you is unchangeable fact. Start reciting Lord Vishnu's name for my pleasure at least. His remembrance is enough to destroy all the sins. May your mind always contemplate on him day and night. Thus all your misery shall come to an end. Attempts to kill Prahlada. When the demons saw that their all efforts failed to face Prahlada and that he was preaching the demon children, they informed Hiranyakashipu about all these happenings. Hiranyakashipu at once called his cook and ordered him to poison Prahlada through food. But the poisonous food also could not hurt Prahlada. In fact, its poison was rendered ineffective by the recitation of Lord's name. This frightened the cook. He informed Hiranyakashipu about that miraculous event. Hiranyakashipu then ordered the priests who were Prahlada's teachers to invoke the Ogres Kritya in order to kill Prahlada. The teachers tried to convince Prahlada before invoking Kritya. O Prince, you are the son of great Hiranyakashipu and have taken birth in Brahma's lineage. What have you to do with matters like God and all that? The whole world is dependent on your father. You should also take refuge in your father and stop praising his opponent. Father is revered and even greater than the teachers. Prahlada said, O fortunate one, I know the powers of my father. I also do not doubt regarding my father's reverence and greatness. I will not commit any crime against him, but kindly listen to me, what I mean by the endless God. O teachers, there are 4 attainable goals in one's life. You ask me what I have to do with He who helps all the human beings to attain these 4 goals: Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. You are my teachers. You are free to say anything to me, but within me stays He who is the creator of all, who is the preserver of all, and who is the destroyer of all of us. Kindly forgive me if I have committed anything wrong in your honor. The teacher said, O foolish boy, we saved you from imminent death thinking that you are our disciple. and that you will not balderdash in future. But still you speak nonsense. Listen, if you don't drop your stubbornness, we will have to invoke Kritya, the ogress, in order to get you slain. Unfazed Prahlada said that life and death were immaterial for the soul that protects or destroys itself through auspicious and inauspicious deeds. Hence, one should always strive to behave in an auspicious way. But Prahlada's words further enraged his teachers. They invoked the ogress Kritya to get Prahlada slain. Kritya hit Prahlada's chest hard with her trident. But as soon as the trident touched his chest, it broke into pieces without harming Prahlada. Seeing her attempt fail, Kritya killed the teachers and disappeared. His teachers' death caused immense pain for Prahlada. Mourning for their death, he prayed Lord Vishnu to resurrect them. Hearing his prayers, Lord Vishnu once again granted life to his teachers. The teachers got up as if from a deep slumber. They realized their mistake and blessed Prahlada and resolved never to have hostility against him. Then they went to the palace and informed Hiranyakasipu about all the happenings. Lord's virtues and protection of Prahlada. Hearing the news of Kritya's failure to kill Prahlada, killing of teachers and their subsequent revival as affected by Prahlada, Hiranyakasipu called his son and asked if all those miracles were natural or he knew some magical tricks. Prahlada said, "O father, neither I know any magic nor is the miracle a part of my nature. All these are ordinary things for he who has eternal God in his heart. No one can harm those who never wish ill for the others. All the living beings are equal for him. In every creature I see the same Lord Vishnu who is present within me. Hence I never try to harm him or her. I cannot even think of harming anybody. It is this feeling that protects me from every physical, mental and divinely discomfort." But these words failed to please Hiranyakashipu. He ordered his men to throw Prahlada from a very high fort. Even this attempt, however, failed to cause any harm to Prahlada, for the Mother Earth took him in her lap, tenderly in the midway. Suspecting some illusionary powers helping Prahlada, Hiranyakasipu ordered Sambasur to kill him using his illusionary power. Sambasur created many illusions to kill Prahlada. But right then, Lord Vishnu sent his Sudarshan Chakra to counter those demonic illusions and protect Prahlada. Sudarshan Chakra destroyed all the demonic illusions one by one. Then Hiranyakasipu ordered Vayu to dry up Prahlada to death. When Vayu entered Prahlada's body and began to dry him up, the Lord came to stay in his heart, where God absorbed all the drying effects of the air, thus rendering it weak. After all those attempts failed, Prahlada returned to his teacher's hermitage and resumed his education once again. The teachers trained him all the relevant subjects. Then they once again took Prahlada to his father and told him that now his education was over. Hiranyakashipu asked, "O son, how should one behave with the others? Tell me what I have learnt so far. I am eager to know your opinion." Prahlada said, "O father, indeed my teachers have taught me in different subjects. I have too learnt them with heart. They taught me that diplomatic policies should be applied in order to train friendship. But excuse me, father, I see no friend or no enemy, so in my opinion these policies are totally irrelevant. Tell me, O father, what is the use of means when there is nobody to be trained? Lord Vishnu is present everywhere, in you, in me and in all other creatures. Hence, instead of using in sinisterly actions, one should use his wits for good and benefit of all. O fortunate one, everybody longs for the throne and a big kingdom, but only those attain these things who really deserve and have them in their destiny. Even the most inert and imprudent people who are weak and know nothing about the policies get these things because of destiny. Hence, all those who wish for splendor must strive to accumulate pious actions. Those who long for salvation must strive to acquire impartial view for all. Such actions please God, and when He is pleased, all the mysteries are attenuated. Hearing these words, Hiranyakashipu kicked Prahalada hard and ordered his demons to tie him in Nagapasha and throw into the sea. The demons obeyed their master and threw Prahalada into the sea after tying him in Nagapasha. With Prahalada's motion, great disturbances occurred in the sea. Seeing that, Hiranyakashipu ordered the demons to cover the sea with huge mountains so that Prahalada could not get a passage to escape. When the demons uprooted huge mountains and put them into the sea, Prahalada began to pray God with concentrated mind. Appearance of Lord. As soon as Prahalada began to pray the Lord, his Nagapash broke and the mountains that the demons had thrown into the sea also lightened up, causing great relief for Prahalada. Lord Vishnu appeared before him and said, O Prahalada, I am pleased with your devotion. You may seek any boon of your wish. Prahalada said, May I always have an unconditional devotion for you? May your remembrance never be away from my heart? God said, Your devotion for me shall always remain the same. Now seek anything you wish. Prahalada said, O Lord, my father has always cultivated hostility for you because of my devotion. May my father be free from the sin of his action. Lord said, O Prahalada, all your wishes shall come true, but still seek any boon of your choice. Prahalada said, O Lord, I don't want anything other than devotion for you. Lord said, O Prahalada, you have nothing in your mind but devotion for me. So with my grace you will attain supreme abode. Saying this, the Lord had disappeared. In later course, ultimately Hiranyakashipu decided to kill Prahalada himself. He tied Prahalada to a pillar and shouted abusively for God. He hit the pillar. As soon as he hit the pillar, it broke and Lord appeared from it in Narsimha incarnation. His appearance was extremely formidable, with half human and half lion form. Dragging Hiranyakashipu to the threshold, he killed him with his powerful talons. After the killing of his father, Prahalada took over the throne and ruled his subjects religiously. Kashyapa's other wives. After the death of Hiranyakashipu, Prahalada continued his lineage. Prahalada had a son, Virochan. Virochan in his turn had Bali as his son. The pervasive Bali was sent to the netherworld by Vamana, incarnation of Lord. Bali had 100 sons, among whom Banashur was the eldest. Kasyapa's second wife Danu had sons like Dhimurdha, Sambhar, Ayomukh, Shankha, Shiram, Kapila, Shankar, Ekachakra, Mahabhavu, Tarak, Mahabhal, Swarabhanu, Vrikshaparva, Pulom and Viparichit. Swarabhanu had a daughter, Prabha, whereas Sarmishta, Upadan and Haishira were the daughters of Vishwaparva. Vaishwanar had two daughters, Puloma and Kalka, who were married to Kashyapa. From the part of Kashyapa, they gave birth to 60,000 Jains known as Pulom and Kalkeya. Kashyapa's another wife, Samara, gave birth to 6 daughters, Sukhi, Shayani, Bhashi, Sugrivi, Suchi and Girdharika. Shuki gave birth to the birds like parrots, owls and crows. Shayani gave birth to sleep while Bhasi produced light. Gridhirika gave birth to vultures whereas Shuchi produced aquatic birds. Sugrivi gave birth to equine animals like horse, camels and asses. Vinita, one of the wives of Kashyapa, gave birth to Garuda and Aruna. Garuda became the vehicle of Lord Vishnu, while Arun became the charioteer of the sun. Surasa gave birth to millions of the snakes. Kadru also had great snakes like Shesha, Vasuki, Tashak, Shankar, Shwet, Mahapadam, Kambal, Ashwatar, Ilaputra, Nag, Karkotak, Dhananjay as her sons. Krodavarsha gave birth to anger and devils. Surabhi gave birth to cows and buffaloes. Ira gave birth to the trees, creepers and scores of grasses. Khasa gave birth to yaksha and monsters. Muni produced elves whereas Arishta gave birth to Gandharvas. After the annihilation of her sons, Diti once again pleased Kashyapa and sought a son who could destroy even Indra. Kashyapa granted her boon but stipulated that she would have such a son only when she observes complete sanctity during 100 years of gestation period. Diti agreed to abide by the stipulation. Then they copulated, as a result of which Diti conceived. When Indra came to know that Diti had conceived a son who would be able to destroy even him, he arrived at Kasyapa's hermitage and began to serve Diti with full devotion. He had in fact arrived here to see if by chance Diti ever violated the stipulation, for then he would easily destroy the unborn child without incurring any sin. Sometime before the completion of gestation period, one day Diti did violate the stipulation. She forgot to wash her feet after attending nature's call and retired on the bed. Indra was waiting for the moment. He at once entered Diti's womb carrying his mace in hand. There he broke the fetus into 7 pieces, but still the fetus survived and began to cry loudly. Indra then broke each of those 7 pieces into 7 pieces more and consoled them not to cry. Those 49 pieces of Diti's fetus later on came to be known as Marudagana, the assistants of Indra. The description of universal order. When the great sages crowned Prithu as the king of the entire earth, Brahma had also divided the kingdoms. Thus Brahma appointed Chandrama as the ruler of the nakshatras, planets, Brahmins, vegetation, yajna, penance. He also appointed Kubera as the ruler of the kings, Varuna as the ruler of the water bodies, Vishnu as the ruler of Adityas, and Agni as the ruler of Vasus. Similarly, Daksha was appointed as the ruler of all the Prajapatis, Indra as the ruler of Marudganas, and Prahalada was appointed as the ruler of the demons. Dharmaraj Yama became the ruler of Pitragana, and Airavat became the ruler of the elephants. Garuda came to rule the birds. Indra was appointed as king of the gods, Uchashurva as the king of the horses, Rishabha as the king of the cows, Lion became the king of the beasts, Sheshanag of the snakes, Himalaya became the king of all the land masses, Kapila became the king of the sages, and Tiger became the king of those animals that have nails and long teeth. Thereafter Brahma appointed Dikpalas, guardians of the directions on all corners of the earth. These Dikpalas still guard the earth, which has 7 continents and scores of big and small cities. All the gods, demons, human beings, animals, birds, reptiles, in fact every living being have originated from the parts of omnipotent Lord Vishnu. Hence nobody but Lord Vishnu has the capacity to foster all the living beings on earth. That eternal God creates the world. God creates the world, fosters it, and ultimately destroys it. Thus, the Lord has four parts in the form of this entire creation. One of his parts remains unmanifested as Brahma. Second part appears like Prajapati's. Time is his third part, whereas all the living beings constitute his fourth part. Since the beginning, during the existence, until the ultimate annihilation of the universe, the process of creation continued through Brahma, Prajapatis, and all the other living beings. In the beginning, Brahma creates the primitive living beings, then the process of creation is taken over by Prajapatis. When their progenies populate the world, the process of creation continues spontaneously. Without call, no one, including Brahma, Prajapatis, and all the living beings, can carry out the process of creation. Sri Hari is in the base of every new creation that takes place through a pre-existing creation. The supreme abode of Lord Vishnu remains intangible. Sri Hari bears the intangible, pure, and all-pervasive spirit of the universe as Kaustubha Mani. He bears the intelligence as his mace. He bears the two kinds of ego in his conch and sharang bow. Third kind of ego is present as the wheel in his hand. Via Jayanti garland that adorns his neck represents five senses and five physical elements. He bears the sense and motor organs as the arrows, and the sword that he holds is knowledge. Thus everything is dependent on Sri Hari. He is himself intangible, but for the benefit of human beings, he bears all these things as ornaments. Even the counting of time is present in him. God is present in all the seven worlds. He is the base of all the knowledge, our ancestor and the ancestors of our ancestors. He is present in the gods, human beings, animals, all the Vedas, Ayurveda, Purana, and other religious scriptures. All the visible and invisible things in the world have Lord Vishnu in them. Nothing is different from him. Such a feeling in the mind keeps all the miseries and physical ailments away.